Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and today is going to be one part of my July book haul, and this one's going to be all the girly stuff, all the really pretty books that would mostly be of interest to females. I have a few YA contemporary romances, and I have a lot of women's fiction. Most of it is just really pretty. A lot of them were cover buys. A few of them were parts of series that I'm interested in. But before I show you what I got, I want to show you something that I received just today. Now, you guys know I've been involved with the Friends of the Library for a while, and I'm not the book sales chairman anymore for the Friends of the Library, but I do still go and help out occasionally. And there was a work day and a mini book sale a couple of weeks ago, and of course I have to go and shop, and so I had filled up a couple of bags of my own, and then I noticed that they were doing a big clean out, and so they were clearing out a lot of books, and they were about to haul them to the dumpster. And I said, hold up, wait a second, if you're just throwing those out, let me take them, because I can always find something, even in the stuff that somebody else thinks is trash. I can always find something that I want, and I can usually find a good home for whatever is left. Sent me 2 carloads to get all of it home, and in fact the second carload I didn't even go home with. I first went to my flea market bookstore friend who took 11 boxes, and in exchange she gave me a few books. When we were at that book sale slash work day, I met a young woman at the book sale who was looking through and buying a few books, and she was interested in what I was bagging up to take with me. And I said, well, these are the cast-offs, the things that they can't sell or don't want to sell or don't want to fool with, and so I'm just gonna, find a place to donate them, find somebody who wants them. And she goes, oh, well, I make journals out of old books. Can I look through them? And I said, absolutely. I said, but I've already taken a lot to my car, so why don't you come to my house sometime and I will show you what I have before I donate them and get rid of them all. So today she came, and she brought 2 of her journals that she made, one especially for Emily and then one for me. She didn't meet Katie because Katie wasn't there that day, so she met Emily, and she knew that she was special needs, and so she wanted to make something just for Emily. And so here is what she made. It's really cute. I asked her what it's made from, and she said this one is made from magazine pages and then scraps of paper, like scrapbook type paper. So it is really cute. It's got little places that you can journal, and it's got little envelopes and pockets where you can put little things. And if I'm not careful, things will fall out of it. But it's adorable. It's just so cute. I haven't fully looked through this one yet, but it's just wonderful. And I asked her if she made them to sell, and she said she used to, but now she mostly just makes them to give to people. But I am interested in maybe getting her to make one of these for Katie, because I don't want Katie to be left out. But anyway, it's just really super cute. Lots of stuff. Go ahead and flip through it. And of course, I could probably do something like this myself. I have all the scrapbook supplies in the world, all of them, and I could make something like this, but I haven't even had time to do my scrapbooks in I don't know when, so I'm not holding out much hope that I would get one of these done anytime soon. So here's the one she made for me, and it is beautiful. I have already flipped through it. It's got some lined paper in different places, and then also places where you can write directly on the page. And the interesting thing about this is she left some of the book pages uncovered, and this is actually made from one of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants books. It's made from the 3rd book, because in the back she did leave the old library sticker that says that it's Girls in Pants, and but it works out perfectly because the end papers have photographs and then how in the pants books there are pages of quotes. Well, those fit right in with this type of journal. So this is wonderful. And just to compare, I took my book off the shelf just to see. This is the original. This is Girls in Pants, the 3rd Summer of the Sisterhood. And then this is what it looks like after she has finished making it. So it's really interesting what people can do with objects like this, and it's just really fun, and I appreciate it so much. So anyway, I'm just tickled to death with this. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in it, but I am thrilled about it. The books for this haul are mostly women's fiction, books that would be of interest to women, but I do have 3 YA contemporary books that I will show you because this is the haul where they sort of fit the best in. They are all by Sarah Dessen. I have not read any Sarah Dessen. I do have 2 other books of hers, and so this one is What Happened to Goodbye. This one is Lock and Key. I think this is maybe her newest one. This Lullaby. So I have not read any Sarah Dessen. People speak so highly of her that I think maybe these are books that my daughter Katie would enjoy at some point. So I've kind of been getting them with her in mind, but I do plan to read them at some point. Now, my newest series that I've started collecting that I haven't read any of is the Shenandoah album series by Emily Richards. This one is called Endless Chain. This is the second one in the series. I already had the 5th one in the series called Sister's Choice, and I was attracted to this cover. I think it's just beautiful. So then I went on Goodreads and I looked to see what the series looked like and what it was about, and I hadn't really thought much about it until I found this at, I believe, a library bookstore. And the author's name stood out to me because the way Emily Richards spells her first name is very similar to how we spell our daughter's name. My Emily is E-M-E-L-I-E, and if you stick an N in there, that spells Emmeline, which is her first name, and so we call her Emily, which is short for Emmeline. And I really love names that end in I-E. I don't know why. I'm silly like that, but I love her name. Each of these books has a quilt on the cover. So I am wanting to find the hardbacks of, there's only 5 books in the series, and I'm wanting to find the other hardbacks. So I've been looking around at all the used bookstores, and even though shopping online is not my favorite thing, I have found them online, and when I get a little bit of cash together to cover the shipping, I may just at least go ahead and order the first one so that I can get started on this series, because I haven't read them. I'm really totally just buying them because of the covers, and I really hope they're good. I'm going to be so disappointed if they're not good, but I just know that they're going to be. Now, I have heard Sarah from Novel Expectations mention Emily Richards before. I think she's read some of her books. I don't know if she's read this series. So Sarah, if you're watching, if you've ever read any from this series, let me know what you thought of it before I spend any more money on it, if it's not good. This one is probably the book I spent the most money for of this haul. I just got this the other day. It's by Susan Wiggs, called The Goodbye Quilt. If you saw my video with my sister, you know she likes books that have anything to do with quilting, and so I read the synopsis of this and it looks really good, but because it is a fairly new book, even though it's really small and kind of dinged up a little bit, I had to pay $3 for it at the library bookstore, but that's okay. I really think it's something that Charlotte will like, and it's very short, so I will probably try to give it a read before I send it to her. This is another book and author that I mentioned on the video with Charlotte. This is one of the more recent books by Marie Bostwick. This is called Apart at the Seams. This is book 7 in the Cobbled Court Quilt series. I said on the other video that the Between Heaven and Texas book was number 7, but it's actually number 6, and then it spins off into another series, and this is book 7. So this goes back to the Cobbled Court, and I only read the first 2 in the series. This is number 7, so I got some catching up to do. The next 2 or 3 I just bought because they looked interesting, and I like the covers. This is Knit One, Purl One by Gil McNeil, and I didn't even realize until I got home. It says author of the Beach Street Knitting Society and Yarn Club, and I thought, I think I have that book, and I do. I have that book. There's one in between that I don't have, so I've got to be on the lookout for the second book, and then I can read this series too. And as long as we're on the knitting theme, this is The Knitting Circle by Anne Hood. I have no idea what this is about other than knitting. In the video with my sister, we talked about Kate Morton, and I found The Secret Keeper. I think this is the only one of her novels that I did not have, so I was happy to find this one. And I didn't realize that The Pioneer Woman has a novel. Pioneer Woman, Ree Drummond, is from my home state of Oklahoma. I enjoy watching her show whenever I can catch it, and she's got some beautiful cookbooks. This one is not a cookbook, though. This is called Black Heels and Tractor Wheels, and I believe it says it's a love story. So this might be the story of how she met her husband, or it might just be a novel. I'm not sure, but I love the cover, and I really do enjoy Ree Drummond. I I love that she has made it big, you know, hometown girl who's made it big. And so, now she's not from my hometown, but, you know, she's from my home state. And so I'm excited for her, and I thought I'd like to take a look at this. Alright, so I believe the rest of the books in this haul were books that were free to me. Either I got them from the Friends of the Library, or I traded them with friends, or I got them from the Little Free Library, or something. So I'll try to go through them very quickly. Some of them I know more about than others, and some just looked interesting, so I thought they'd be worth a second look. I got A Virtuous Woman by Gibbons, and this is one of the Oprah Book Club selections. I got The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. I've never read this, and I've seen it all over the place, and have been very curious to read it. I've heard of Cecelia Ahern on BookTube, but I've never read any of her books. So if you've read anything by her and you liked her as an author, or you liked her books, let me know. This one I got free, I think, from the Friends of the Library. This is called The Gift, and I believe it has some short stories in it, and I believe they are holiday themed. And then I got this one from our Little Free Library. It had been sitting in there for a few weeks, and I thought, well, since I had this one, I may as well go ahead and pick this one up, because our library doesn't even have this one. It's called A Place Called Here, and it looks like a very good story. Now the rest of these are going to be mass market paperbacks. So I got 2 Jody Thomas books. This one is called The Texan's Reward, and it was part of the free stuff, but it's the 4th in another series. I've been collecting her Harmony series, and so this is another series that I have not started, and so I don't know if I will actively search for any more in this series for a while. It's got a Texas Ranger symbol on the front, which sounds very interesting to me, so I will probably hang on to this, and when I get a little more caught up with some of her other books and the Harmony series of hers that I am planning to read, then I'll take a closer look at this one. This is a standalone by Jody Thomas, Beneath the Texas Sky. She is from Texas, and she predominantly writes books that are set in Texas. And I'm from Oklahoma, as the crow flies, about 8 miles from Texas. So Texas is almost as much home to me as Oklahoma, and so I am very interested to read these. Eugenia Price was an author that my mother loved, and I've only tried reading 1 or 2 of her books on audio, and I realized later that I had picked up an audiobook that was kind of in the middle of a series. So I need to give her a better chance. I'm not sure where this one falls in a series, or if it's in a series, but this was one of the free things that they were getting rid of. This is called Stranger in Savannah, and it's a chunker, but I decided I would go ahead and take a second look at it and see if this might be where I want to start with Eugenia Price. And another author I have been collecting recently that I haven't read yet is Jill Shalvis. This is one of the Lucky Harbor novels called Always on My Mind. I hope I'm going to like these, because I've heard high praise for her. If you've read these and there's shenanigans in here that you think I'm not going to like, then let me know before I get too much invested in the series. And I've only read 1 Sophie Kinsella, and so I thought I would go ahead and pick up the first in the Shopaholic series. The one I read was a standalone, and I've heard high praise for the Shopaholic series. I picked this one up in a fill-a-bag situation, so one of these days I'll get around to it. I have one other of these Perpetually Yours silhouette romances. I love animals, cats, dogs, everything, and this one's called A Tale of Love. And so this again was in some of the free stuff, and I just thought it would be worth taking a second look at. I kept 3 Debbie Maycomer books that were in the free stuff that I may take a look at. I usually listen to Debbie Maycomer on audio. It's pretty rare for me to sit down and read one of her books, so I may end up just passing these on to someone else if the audio is available. But this one is called The Matchmakers, Country Bride, and this has 2 short stories, one by Debbie Maycomer and one by Rianne Thane. And then this one is called Married in Seattle. Alright, now I've got 2 more books. These are by Janet Daly. One I got free, and one I actually did pay for. I did search it out in the used bookstore, because it's the last book in the Calder saga that Janet Daly started writing back in the early 80s. And then the last 2 that came out were in like 2005, 2006. So I read those, and then I thought the series was over. And then in 2010, 4 years later, she came out with one more book in that series. series, and it's a Christmas theme, Santa in Montana, and I never did go back and read it. And I had finished the whole series other than this last book. So I kind of always had it in the back of my head that I needed to go back and read it, and I always forget to look it up in the library. So when I was at the used bookstore, I saw that she had it, and I thought I would just go ahead and get it so that I could pick it up whenever the mood strikes. Probably, at this point I may wait till Christmas. So I would like to finish this year so that I can say I'm done with this series. Then I ended up with one other book by Janet Daly, which I think was in the free stuff from the library. This one's also a Christmas theme, Long Tall Christmas. And I don't know anything about this, but the book was in such beautiful condition that I thought I would go ahead and take a second look at it, because I really did enjoy Janet Daly's Calder saga, and I thought I might enjoy this too. So just like in my nonfiction haul video, I filmed most of my July book haul videos early in August, and then a day or two later I went to a very large library book sale. So I went ahead and just divided up what I got at that book sale and am including them in my July hauls, because I didn't want to do separate videos and I want to get these books put away. So the rest of the books will be what I got on the third day of a very large library book sale where I filled a box for $5. So what you're looking at now are 2 Elizabeth Berg books. I have been collecting Elizabeth Berg. She's one of my collected authors that I've not read, and I already had a copy of The Art of Mending, but my sister Charla is interested in reading that one. So when I saw a paperback copy that would be really easy to mail, I thought I would go ahead and pick it up, and I will send that to her. Then I had not heard of this one, The Handmaid and the Carpenter. Another book I got with Charla in mind is Quilted Lillies by Hazelwood. It says this is the 6th novel in the Coleridge Community series. It says it's part of the American Quilters Society fiction series. So the AmericanQuilter.com address is on the back, so it definitely has something to do with quilting. I may read it, or I may just go ahead and send this one to Charla. And I found a Marie Bostwick book that she has been really wanting me to read. This is the second book in the Too Much Texas spin-off series that is a spin-off series from the Cobbled Court quilt series. So now I need to find From Heaven to Texas, which is book 6 in the Cobbled Court series and book 1 in the Too Much Texas series. But this book is like brand new. It probably has... It looks like it might have been read one time. It's not a library copy, so it's in beautiful condition, and I was excited to find it. Another author that my sister and I both enjoy is Jennifer Chiaverini. This is another one of her historical standalone novels. This is called A Spy Mistress, and it is a fictionalized account of Elizabeth Van Lew, who lived in a Confederate state during the Civil War, but was pledged to the Union and did a bit of spying for the Union and was able to send them information to help the Union. And so this looks really good. Both of us read Mr. Lincoln's Dressmaker, and we both kind of thought it was a little bit dry. So I'm interested to read this and see if I like this one any better. I do really enjoy her writing. The Elm Creek Quilt series is wonderful, and I highly recommend it. So I went ahead and picked this up because, like I said, it was fill a box for $5. Earlier in this haul, I showed you 2 Cecelia Ahern books. I found this one at the book sale called Thanks for the Memories. The Miss Read books have been recommended to me by at least 1 or 2 local friends. I've got a couple of the Thrush Green series, and this is from the Fair Acre series, and it looks really fun. Most of these books have a blurb from Jan Karan, who is one of my all-time favorite authors, so I'm sure they must be great. I'm kind of drawn to books with cows on the cover. This one just looks really fun. A Very Dairy Christmas by Sylvia Hyson. And this cover really caught my attention. It's called Sisters Inc. by Rebecca Seitz, and it looks like it might have something to do with paper crafting, which I love, scrapbooking, card making, and things like that. So I thought I would pick this up. I have collected a few Jill Shalvis books from the Lucky Harbor series. This is from the Cedar Ridge series, and I probably won't start this anytime soon, but since I have other books by her and she comes highly recommended, I thought I would go ahead and grab this one. I've been looking for this one. I'm so excited. I have the Christmas Shoes and the Christmas Hope, and this one is the second book in the trilogy, and I really would like to read this trilogy this Christmas. This is by Donna Van Leer, and one of my friends from church has read, I think, all of her books and loves them, so I was very happy to find this book. This is one of the first ones I found at the book sale. When I first walked in, they had their old books and classic books sitting there together. And look at this. I don't know if you can see it. This is Jo's Boys by Louisa May Alcott. And it's really a gorgeous cover. And it's in pretty good condition considering the age of it. There's the end papers. Beautiful. It's the same in the back. This is the Illustrated Junior Library Edition, and it's got color illustrations. I have read Little Women. I've not read Little Men, and Jo's Boys is the sequel to Little Men, and this edition is from 1949, which is the year my parents graduated from college. So I am thrilled with this. It is beautiful. That is all my girly stuff that I acquired in the month of July. Mostly things that would be of interest to women, although not all of it. I mean, any of these books could be read by anyone, but that's really the best way to describe it. Pretty covers and a little bit of romance and women's friendships and things like that. So if you liked any of these books or didn't like any of them, let me know in the comments. And I guess that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.